prepping for storms to come. And we're gonna do sourdough, we're gonna do therapy, we're gonna do trauma and grief healing, okay? Well, friends, guess what? Besides the fact that it is winter and it is January and sea of sickness, we are starting our sourdough factory. Yes, we are. I have been not only feeding my sourdough, I have been discarding. You know, all of these months where I took it out and I fed it some and then I put it back in the refrigerator, and just for a bit, I have been forgetting to discard, which is okay. It just means you end up with a whole lot of starters. So I fed it again this morning, and then just for extra fun, I took some of my starter and I started feeding it separately. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. Really, I could just combine the two, but I've been playing, I've been feeding the sourdough. You know, in spring 2023, I got my sourdough starter, little tablespoon. I brought it home from a trip to Missouri, visiting with my friend Lisa from Farmhouse on Boone. And so this is a continuation of Lisa's 13-year-old starter, which I guess is 15 years old now. And I fed it, and I started just doing her recipes, going to farmhouseonboone.com, and we did bagels, and we did what I call artisan bread, but it's just those beautiful little beginner loaves, and we did sourdough English muffins, and discard bagels, and pizza dough for the freezer, and so many things. And here we are now, winter 2025, we are doing this again. And we are going to just get right on rolling this. I'm gonna get the bowls I have available. We're gonna see what kind of adventures await. A little bit of noise. You may know, you may not know, I have always been, for decades, a busy doing all the things mama of a large and growing household. And these days I am a single mom of a large household of 10. Let's see here. And I'm trying to find all my bowls. I think we're doing pretty good. Anyway, I have visions for 2025. This water, this is from a toddler washing dishes in that sink. He loves to play that. Anyway, 2025, my focus is big batch freezer meals, canning, and sourdough. I may not get another flock of chickens going. I might only be able to work in the community garden, but I can stick to those three things. 2025, no matter what is coming this way, say it with me. Big batch freezer cooking, canning, sourdough. Those are our big three. It's gonna be the year of the big three. So in times past, when I have been able to get sourdough in my freezer, it has been so incredibly helpful. When my life has blown up, just normal blow-ups like pregnancies, childbirth, postpartum, homeschooling a lot of kids, those kind of things. Then we get to hospitalizations multiple times and a kidney surgery, and then unbelievable life blow-ups. Guess what has helped me? My freezer meals. And even the sourdough I had made earlier in summer 2023, my folks were still taking loaves out of the freezer in September 2023 and defrosting them and having sourdough when mama couldn't even make any sourdough. Also, total free and clear, if a mama, if you or me, if we need to order great value pizza, grocery delivery, it's okay. We're gonna make it through. But I'm just trying, putting in all my best efforts for 2025 for big batch freezer meals, canning, and sourdough. Let's get rocking and rolling now. Doing as many artisan loaves, prepping them ahead as you can. I guess this colander won't really help me. Sourdough is fed. We're gonna see how far we can get. And what I'm going to do is I'm just gonna fill a pot of water because I'm pretty sure it's 3.5 cups of water. We're gonna look at Lisa's recipe. I'm just starting back to get myself all warmed up again. I'm starting back with the easy breezy lemon squeezy basics of her beginner sourdough bread recipe that I got making so much and so often. I would even be able to prep many loaves ahead, have them in the refrigerator, and then on baking days, roll through baking them. we'll see how it goes. Because for added fun, I do have a new element of single mom being part of my life descriptive titles. You know, it used to be large family mom, which I still am, and homeschool mom, and business mom, and I still have all those titles, but I have the new dynamic of being a single mom, which is a whole other thing. And there's things, and there's new experiences and situations that are empowering, and then there's situations and new experiences that are terrifying. And as I have already mentioned, 2025, I'm looking at it, okay? I'm not scared of 2025. I'm doing it. But I'm also being realistic in that I need to cook for my family and my business being making all these videos, and my family needs food to eat. I need to do that when I can, how I can, and then I'm going to have gobs of time where I'm on the trails, I'm reading with my feet up, I'm walking, I'm getting in 25,000 steps that day, you know, having my extra trauma and grief therapy for that week, like I might have already had one, I might need a bonus one, you know, it's just gonna be real up in here. 2025, yes. That's why my idea of a good time is to have my sourdough factory going when I can. Thank you for being here with me and for doing all this big batch sourdough. My hopes and dreams are that we're not only going to do these loaves, I would also like to get several big batch sourdough pizzas in the freezer, and I would love to do sourdough biscuits. You know, I have done tons of biscuits for the freezer for so many years, and I have recipes for those at shop.largefamilytable.com and on the blog largefamilytable.com. But I would love to do them in sourdough, and Lisa has a recipe for that, so we're just gonna follow her recipe. She's got a couple different variations over there, and I love it. Just let me read it and do it, right? And we'll go from there. So sourdough factory, getting going. I know some of you have commented and asked me, someone said the other day in a comment, I don't think you can use tap water for sourdough. The concern with tap water with sourdough is chlorine and other additives that can be in water. I have well water, and my sourdough has done well with it. So your mileage may vary, but that's my thoughts on that. Okay, usually I'm running back and forth to the sink, refilling my water, and I just, you know, in that cute little baby pot, thought that might be a thing. Alrighty, so I want to get out a dedicated half measuring cup for my starter. Alrighty, we're just gonna set up our little assembly line, okay? We'll have our starter. I'll get a plate. I'll just put one of these bowls. One of my adult sons got me this salad bowl set. It's got these 4 little bowls. So anyway, that'll be pretty to put that in. We've got our salt. Pretty sure each loaf of these first one needs 2 teaspoons of salt. And this recipe will be linked down in the description below as well. And then we're gonna have our flour, we have our water, and we're going to have our bowls. Now, Lisa also has a recipe on doing this beginner sourdough bread all in one day. You can stretch it out. We will go through the process. I'm going to prep this today and bake it through tomorrow. But the nice thing is, though, after the long ferment, the loaves that are in my refrigerator overnight tonight can actually stay in there for several days until I get to them, if I wanted to do that. And that's what I had done in the past. I would get several loaves going, like we'll say a dozen or so, and then maybe the next day I would bake 6. So we would have some for fresh eating over the next few days, and then as those started to wane down, I could do like 2 in the time from the refrigerator, while also simultaneously getting some more bread prepped and back into the refrigerator to kind of just prime the pump. My life is not going to follow that cadence or any kind of normal, standard, large family mom, homemaker-ish life. My life is wild, okay? And we are safe and things are progressing and things are good. But again, I am also realistic, mama, and you're just gonna be hearing about that because over the past 18 months, I mean, you've been with me on this journey as I've been able to share. So I am prepping for storms to come and just giving myself time to breathe, and also trying to back off on the great value pizzas, but also know the great value pizza times will come. It's 3.5 cups of flour, 1/2 cup of starter, 1 1/3 cups of water. I might have said, because I filled that 4 cups, who knows? Don't mind me, I just work here. Okay, we got our cup, and I just find it easier to like do 1/3 of a cup too, if I have one. But do I have something kind of close to it? That's a 1/4, that's a 1/3. Okay, so I might do it that way, or we'll get into eyeballing it. It is 2 teaspoons of salt, and that's that. So, I already fed the sourdough. That's great. Combine warm water, active starters, salt, flour, wooden spoon, bowl, hands, mix. Yes. Cover with plastic wrap, allow to rest for 30 minutes. That hydrates the flour. And then we're going to start our stretch and fold. So what I'm going to try to do is get as many bowls as I can going, and then the stretch and fold process will be immense, but we'll do it. And I will reuse a bunch of my plastic wrap throughout this process. Is they save their Walmart bags. And I know she has shared this publicly before too. And they put their bowls in their Walmart bags, and that way she's not even using any more plastic wrap. And you open her refrigerator and there's a bunch of sourdough in Walmart bags, so that's a great thing. Maybe I'll remember to do that, or not, but we're working through there. Yeah, then we're just gonna start the whole stretch and fold thing, and we're gonna go from there, and we shall progress. Alrighty. I did sourdough, if you remember, this time last year. In January 2024, I had a video come out, and I did a bunch of sourdough English muffins, and we made breakfast freezer sandwiches out of them, and all of that. All of that is fantastic, and my family sure appreciates the breakfast freezer sandwiches, and I have none of them right now. And I did get a 12-quart, I'm looking at it. My friend has a 10-quart Hobart. She found for me a 12-quart Hobart mixer on Facebook Marketplace. She found that for me. She messaged it to me. This was before Thanksgiving, when I was going through my I just can't cook right now phase of life, which is within normal limits, to be expected. Anyway, she found that for me. I went ahead and got it with hopes and dreams that I'd be able to start cooking again, since it literally provides for my family food and finances. You know, I need to cook. I need to get cooking here. So anyway, she found that for me. I bought it. I've looked at it. I haven't used it yet. I had another friend fix my red KitchenAid, and I am now letting another friend of mine who wanted to get going in sourdough use that KitchenAid, because they didn't have any mixer. And I thought, my goodness, I'm here with a Hobart and a fresh Costco silver KitchenAid, which my toddler calls his mixer, and then he calls the Hobart mommy's mixer. So it's really cute. Anyway, I'm sharing all the mixer love. So we got our starter. I'm going to do the 1/4 cup of water in a minute. So with some of this sourdough factory, I want to get going. We'll be using that mixer, but this recipe actually doesn't even take it. But if and when we get to the pizza dough, that will have it. And like so many things in life, I have learned what is easiest for my brain to get it done. And that's what we should do. Okay. Probably need to get a couple wooden spoons out. And yeah, the hat is in full force. I don't know, it's 19 degrees or so outside. We had 8 inches of snow earlier this week. I have had 1 week of sickness in my house, and I have people pulling through that now. You might have heard me talk about that in a couple videos, but it's been about 5 or 6 days one time. So I guess everyone has been due. I haven't gone down with it yet. Sometimes We don't all go down with the same thing, you know, large family sickness, but sometimes it'll activate in me 2 or 3 weeks later when everyone else is better. Then my immune system, it must be like a mother survival thing. It's like, okay, all of your cubs have made it, now it's your turn. So that's happened to me the last couple times, and that is okay, that is life. But anyway, cold. Yesterday, I only got in 1,300 steps. It was my quote rest day, although I filmed cleaning this kitchen all day with you guys. That video should be out now, but it just really needed a good scrub in there. And so we got that done, but it didn't hit hard on the steps, and I did not do any extra walking. Well, today, even though, I mean, it's 4:38 and I still probably have the same amount of steps. I have not been outside yet today, but I've had many days this week by 4, 5, 6. I don't have high steps because my normal daily life in my house, you know, I can easily just mom life get a couple thousand. I have to go out and be intentional. And so this evening, I do plan to take some breaks and get the steps in, and I will end my day with at least 10,000 steps. And every day this week, except last night, I have ended with 10 to 15,000. And that's just been walks around my property and up and down my driveway at different times. Sometimes family folks with me, many times by myself. And that all works out well. Just trying to incorporate all this together. I can probably just leave it alone now, almost. So look at us, the first of many loaves for 2025. I somehow lost my little plastic wrap slicer off of this, but that's okay. We shall make it through. This is a little bit bigger bowl. But back to the mixers, I do think with some of the recipes that we do, we will be able to get the mixer going. Some of the bowls are pretty small, but I can do the first part with them. Okay, let me get another spoon. Just because at this point we can always use all the spoons. And many of Lisa's recipes I have ×3, ×6. They have expanded very well for me. Of course, I have not done all her sourdough recipes, but I've done a good bit of them. And I just want to get warmed up and doing them all again. I have 2 frugal baking from scratch guides, which is doing different yeast breads. And from my understanding, sourdough just replaces the yeast. So I'd like to go through and do those. Boy, that's a mess using the end of this handle. I might end up with 3 spoons. I'd like to go through and just do all those recipes, but replace the yeast with sourdough. Give them a try. They might take some adapting, might take some testing, but I think that would be a fun thing to test. But I love having the roadmap of other people's work to get moving. There's different things that my brain just can't handle at different times. Kind of like when I bought all those chickens and I started crying over them. I think I called that video, Sometimes Cooking Makes Me Cry. It was really, really hard that weekend for me to even put in grocery orders to do my big batch cooking holiday guides, because that had been my plan for my Thanksgiving party, and I just couldn't do it. And it was complicated for my brain. And that's part of what I'm learning with trauma healing. We're gonna do sourdough, we're gonna do therapy, we're gonna do trauma and grief healing, okay? This is what you get over here, right? That's right. So I thought, and I mean, maybe it is, I thought over the past season or so in life that what I was learning about myself is I probably have ADHD. I know there's testing, I know there's so much, I'm doing a lot. Anyway, I see a lot of my personality in general when I learn about ADHD from Charlene Johnson online. Okay, so I was identifying with that, but what I heard from another therapist that I've worked with some recently is that with a trauma brain, as you're healing your brain, sometimes the way a healing trauma brain works can present in ADHD-like symptoms. And I just thought, I know my brain has to do so much processing and healing, but that was very interesting to me. I'd never heard that before, and that's why I'm just continually learning. So back to me talking about why I'm wearing the hat, haha. Because it's below freezing temps and I'm living life going in and out, even though I haven't been out yet today. I was in my bathrobe until like 2 hours ago. I'm hopeful that I'm going to get probably a total of 2 hours outside moving around in all my layers. Once we get all of these done, maybe in between the stretch and fold times, I'm gonna start slipping outside bundled up for getting my steps in, my movement today. Also, you wanna hear about running and races? This is how we make it through. I tell ya, you just gotta find your thing that helps you feel alive, okay? And I've got a short list of things, and those are what I cling to, and running has been so very helpful for me. I did a good dozen races or so in 2024, considering I just started running November 2023, did my first race December 2023. It was a good year, and I ended my year, I've told you this, but thanks for listening again, ended my year with a PR of my race time. I am so glad. So I'm gonna do at least a dozen races for 2025. Really, I have 15 on my list. But for example, my first January 5K for January 2025, we're supposed to get more snow tomorrow. They've already rescheduled it to the following weekend. And anyway, there could be a couple that are canceled or moved. I still think I'll come in between 12 and 15. 15's my high goal. And today I just signed up for 3 trail races. Now I had signed up for trail races in 2024, and it just ended up the summer dates did not suit my schedule and some other things I was dealing with. I was like, yeah, I'm just not gonna do trail races right now. But I did, again, a dozen group 5Ks. So in 2025, my goal is around 10 5Ks. Then I have about 2 10Ks and 2 half marathons. And also within that, in March, I'm doing a mud race. I am, it's gonna be like a 5K mud race. It's 3.10 miles, maybe it's just 3. Anyway, I'll be sharing all about that. That'll be a lot of fun. I got one of my teens that's gonna do that with me too. And then these trail races. So I haven't done trail running, and this is what I was just talking with my running coach friend this morning. Haven't done trail running, but I have done a lot of hiking. I've done straight up hiking, I've done straight down hiking, I've done a couple hour hiking, I've done all day hiking, I've done miles and miles of hiking. I did a lot of hiking in 2024. So I was looking at the trail runs, and there's a 10K trail race, there's a 25K trail race, and there's a 50K trail race. Well, a 50K is the low end of this whole thing called ultra running. And I think if I was gonna do anything in life, I think I should also do ultras. It just hits right, okay? Yeah, I think I should. So, gives me those free endorphins just talking to you about it. So yeah, let's do that, friends. Let's run some ultras. So for this year, to start out, I am signed up for these 10Ks. Nope. Sorry, I got distracted because I'm doing flower cups and I'm talking to you about races, and It's everything. Okay, hold on here. Let's get in this bag. One more. So when I was talking to my running coach friend, and let me tell you, like, she does Boston Marathon, the Grand Canyon. This lady, like, she's a professional. She's got it, okay? I was talking to her about me doing trail runs, and we were just discussing the fact I've done a lot of hiking. I mean, I've birthed 7 boys plus 2 girls, but I mean, just saying, I'm the mother of 7 sons. You know, it's got a ring to it, right? And I was going through the list. I've birthed babies without epidurals. I have fought a lot of evil. I've done a lot of things. And on a daily basis, usually outside of an icy snow week, I'm getting 15 to 20K steps a day, sometimes 25, 30, 40K steps a day. So I can pack on the miles. One of my running goals for 2025 is to have a sub 30-minute 5K race. Okay, but now we're going to talk about trail running, 10K, 25K, 50K. What in the world? Well, my goal is to just complete the thing. And that's what I was asking her. I was like, can I do trail racing by running when I can and then hiking other places? And she said, yeah, that's what you do. You run where you can, you hike where you can't run. And I'm like, I think I was made for that. So we're gonna do that too. The 10K is in July. I mean, barring any major schedule conflict, unforeseen events, illness, all of that. 10K is in July. The 25K is right around my 46th birthday, which also seems appropriate. And then the 50K, so the 50K is 31 miles. And then that one is in September, okay. And they give you, like, they have a big time span. I think like it's 8 to 1 for the 10K, 8 to 3 for the 25K, maybe 8 to 6 or 8 to 8 for the 50K. And I can do that, I can walk that many miles. So if I can run and I can hike, I'm like, let's do this thing, okay? So I'm adding that because it just seems like what 2025 should have. 2025 should also have trail racing in it. And I just want to complete the thing. I just want to do it. And I'm doing a half marathon in April, and then there's another half marathon in October. The goals of those will be to run the whole thing. So we will continue to progress. So we've got 2, 4, we got 5 going. These little bowls over. I've done it in little bowls. Use what we can. Gonna keep on rolling. And I should probably set a timer. Like, I like timers. They help me. So we'll just see how many I can get through over the next 30 minutes my time. It won't be 30 minutes your time. I don't know, this bowl's probably not gonna work, but I'll at least get my flour into it. That was cute though. Cute. Okay. Or no, probably a no. I'll probably make this one work. Alrighty, next to the assembly line is the starter. And I definitely need to also, in my sourdough that we're going to do this year, I need to get another gluten-free starter going. I need to do more gluten-free baking. But again, gotta have an entry point. My gluten-free folks have already asked, are you doing gluten-free sourdough? Yes, but not today. Not right now, but I shall. Get going with this. Well, a little extra there. Okay, easy does it, right?
So it's a mess, but we're doing it, and we are working through these beginner sourdough loaves. And look at us. We're getting them covered in plastic, and I'm just continuing to work through the assembly line. You know, it took a while to get to this point, and like I just can't say it enough. Look at us. We're doing it. We are continuing to get these bowls covered, and we're working through it. Now, I am super hopeful at this point in our sourdough factory. Even though my household had been down for the majority of the past week, I still haven't gone down, but future Jamerrill knows a secret that currently the past sourdough factory Jamerrill does not know. I actually, a few hours after completing all this cooking on this big sourdough factory day, and I had such a beautiful plan. You know, my plans on paper always, they're so nice. They're so nice. My schedule looks so good. My to-do list, like we're just doing things. And I was going to have day 2 of my sourdough factory the following day. Except reality, yep, there's that. Reality is a few hours after we complete everything on this day, I go down. I go down with the sickness that had been traveling through my household. And that's just that. That was not my plan. But sourdough has been kind to me, and I have had several adventures where I'm able to get my dough prepped to a certain point, and it has to go in the refrigerator, and we return to it later. So again, past Jamerrill did not know that this was the adventure coming, and I'm just full of hope. And actually, I feel really good. Like, I am not feeling sick. I am feeling like, okay, well, maybe this will escape me, you know, for this weekend or for the coming weeks, but it just doesn't go that way. Now, I'm still moving forward without that knowledge, because that's what we do, right, ladies? We just move forward and do the best we can. I'm in a pretty good workflow here, and I am just using the containers that I had. I thought I had more metal mixing bowls and glass bowls. I don't know where they have gone into the vortex, but I have always been a mama that just uses what I have on hand. And these big Rubbermaid containers that I have used for leftover storage for years, that's fine. I can mix some sourdough in those as well. We get all of these in the downstairs refrigerators. And I do have some folks that are on the mend of the seasonal sickness in our household, and they help me carry these down. And we get them stored in the refrigerators, not just overnight. Oh no, but for, I think, almost 9 days. So that just shows that sourdough, it works with me. It works with my life. We will get it done. We end up baking, oh my, a dozen of these wonderful artisan loaves. We also do almost 4 dozen homemade sourdough English muffins. We do dozens and dozens of sourdough English muffins. I think we do about 4 dozen or so, and then we do a little over 5 dozen sourdough bagels. So we just keep trucking. One thing about us, friends, we don't give up, do we? We get this sourdough prepped. Now, why do I do sourdough? Well, I enjoy it. I love cooking adventures. I love making food for my family and for my community and for others around me. I love having baked goods in the freezer. And one of my goals for 2023 was to take my friend Lisa's starter from Farmhouse on Boone and start baking with sourdough. There's health benefits. It's delicious. And I mean, I always love being a few years behind everything. Sourdough exploded online in 2020. So in 2023, I was like, I could learn to do some sourdough. So here we are in 2025, still learning, still doing things. And I love getting back to things that I enjoy. And so on this night, we are doing it. I'm also, at this point, I'm working through my stretch and folds that I do every 20 to 30 minutes. And then we're just going to stretch and fold our way all the way to the refrigerators, and we're not going to quit. We're going to pick life back up when we can and keep on going for this massive sourdough factory extravaganza.
All right, so I was asking my soul, asking my one life, what did I feel like continuing on doing this evening? Because dark outside already. I mean, it's 6:30, but that's okay. So we've done our second stretch and fold. We need to do it one more time. And then these 12 artisan loaves, the beginner sourdough bread recipe from over on Farmhouse on Boone, those will just sit here and long ferment overnight. And you know, I've rattled about biscuits. I've rattled about pizza dough. I'm feeling the little tiredness in my mama's soul though, and I do have a live event with my membership group at 8. So I've been asking myself, well now I've got the mess out. What else can I get done tonight that in the morning when I have these loaves long fermented and when I have a brand new day and fresh energy and all of that, I'll be glad for tomorrow's big cooking day that I did that prep tonight. So I think I'm gonna go with homemade sourdough English muffins. I've done those multiple times, and all I have to do to prep tonight to do a long ferment overnight is water and flour and starter, and that is it. I think my biggest situation is I will need to find some more bowls, but I've got pots and things. And I think what I'll do is I'll ×3 or ×6 her recipe, and we'll do it in one of my bigger bowls. That's what we'll do. And then after it's done long fermenting, tomorrow we will add honey, salt, and baking soda. And then from there we mix it all together. We can get the cast iron going, maybe even get my cast iron flat, smooth, brittle surfaces going on the stove. Like, it's been a while. All the sparks are flying, but hopefully not too many sparks in real life, just mental mama cooking sparks. And then we'll cook up our sourdough English muffins. Okay, so on her blog, she has her ×1 batch for approximately 1 dozen. And I'll link this below. 2½ cups of flour, 1 cup of water, ½ a cup then sourdough starter. And then the following day, after the bulk ferment, tablespoon of honey, teaspoon of salt, teaspoon of baking soda, optional C notes, coconut oil to cook with. So I'm gonna hit ×3. And so that would be roughly 3 dozen. I mean, I'm doing it and I have the mess, and I should have enough starter. And then I will feed my starter some more tonight. Yes, I mean, this is a sourdough factory. Okay, I'm gonna put everything for the ×3 in here and look at it, and we might do that twice. We might do a ×6, which would give us roughly 6 dozen. So let's get going here. I'm just gonna do the ×3 math right now, which is 7 cups of flour. Me having 6 dozen sourdough English muffins makes much more sense than me having a dozen. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm gonna use my precious little ½ cup. Now, so we ×3'd it with her recipe plug-in, and now I'm going to just do double of that. That's what executive decision I just decided. 7½ cups are in. I'm going for 7½ cups again. And I'm just gonna start at 1 though again, okay? And of course we could have just added the 2½ cups together, but no, it's however this is doable in my head, okay? So, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and another ½. So really this would have been, or this is, 15 cups of flour. All right, now, I think that's my last bag of flour, so that will put a nice halt on this evening once we're done getting this fermented, but Walmart grocery delivery, I can have some more flour delivered for the rest of the sourdough factory that's gonna progress. So 3 cups of water is really 6 cups of water. I mean, my hands are in everything here, so 1, 2, my Redmond salt back, 3, 4, ingredients. Okay. 1.5 cups of starter is 3 cups of starter. Guess I will just use this water cup now. Good job, starter. Boy, you've really found your purpose in life, huh? I do need to get my starter out of this container and then into a fresh one. I have yet to grow mold on my starter, but my internet friends have warned me, and I have heeded that mold can grow on the sides and stuff. We wouldn't want that. I do have several jars of discard in my fridge. 3. Pretty sure that was 3. I got talking. Okay. Well, that'll be a perfect amount to feed in a container. Okay, starter. And then that's all we're gonna do. The honey, the salt, the baking soda are gonna be in the morning. Yeah, stir it in a bowl. Now this says glass bowl, which is precious, but when you're doing this much, I don't have a glass bowl that big, and I have done my sourdough many, many times in metal bowls. I know things can go wrong. I just haven't had a bad experience using metal bowls. You know, let it be tonight while I'm doing 6 dozen sourdough English muffins in my 30-quart bowl, but that's okay. I haven't had it go wrong. But I have had plenty of other things go wrong. So let my sourdough go right. Okay, I was about to clean up and I was like, wait a minute, I'm pretty sure I need to do one more round of stretch and folds, and I should probably do something with that sourdough. And let's see, I used to have these big glass jars. They're probably down in the basement, and I will need my sourdough tomorrow. I don't know what I'm going to put it in. Well, sourdough thoughts. Okay. Actually, I just had a teenager come in, and they were bringing stuff to put in the oven for dinner, and I said, sorry, it's getting time to feed the mama. And I said to them, you know, my big jar is down in the basement, bring me 1 or 2 of them. So they're gonna do that, so we'll get that going. And I'm gonna put the lid on the Redmond salt, so I'm doing really good not getting water in that. That's great. Someone came in and has the teapot going. Let me check that for them, because sometimes it goes for too long. They don't even have a tea bag in there yet. Okay. I'm gonna let that be. It's gonna get full of angry water behind me in a minute. That teapot will automatically shut off though, which is nice. Okay, and I know I drive professional bakers bonkers. How many of these? But we're doing it. Okay. So we're starting with that glass bowl. Alrighty, so I have had some little helpers in the kitchen, and I poured what was left of the sourdough starter into this container. We fed it, we stirred it, it was a nice time, and then it was so fun that we fed 2 more jars of starter, okay? It's Mama's kitchen math, it makes sense, it's a bit of a mess. We'll put the towel over it, and we're going to use this tomorrow with our other sourdough factory adventures that are going to continue. I have to go live with my membership here. Oh, there's our little banana evidence. And playing spoons in the background. We have a live event, yes, in 15 minutes. So I'm gonna work on cleaning up and do my live, and then take off my cowgirl boots, put on my snow boots, and go do my walking. Well, we meet again. So a few seconds ago in video land, haha, I was letting my sourdough sit overnight to do its overnight rise, and then we were gonna put it in separate bowls and get it in the baskets and everything the next day and go from there. Well, instead, overnight, I got sick.
That's what Talking Hand has to say, haha. So the sourdough it just got shoved in the fridge and it sat there for the past week while we worked through fevers and a great many things. So hopefully it's all okay. I'm gonna get it out in bread baskets and some grease bowls now, and hopefully tomorrow we can bake it and see what happens with our poor little sourdough factory got shut down for a bit. And so grease bowls that I just mentioned, that would have actually been if I was doing pizza dough. So again, it's been a little bit, but here I am in my pajamas. I decided on this morning, since I'm alive, I made it through my own personal week of sea of sickness. I am now rolling my loaves there in a little bit of flour, getting them in the bread baskets, and we will actually get back to baking them very, very soon. Some loaves are harder than others. Some are pretty soft, some are pretty hard, some are a little crusty, but we're just gonna see what happens and keep moving forward, our motto for all of life. So what I'm running into a lot with these loaves that have been in the refrigerator all week is they just have a crust layer that's hard as a rock, and that's okay. I'm just kind of folding it in, and I know I've been in these predicaments before, and it's all worked out. So we are just getting these crusty dough messes folded around there per the directions, and yes, making them into some nice little dough balls, getting them in the bread baskets. We will wash some of these bowls because when I'm doing a dozen loaves at a time, I do get low on bowls around here. So I get some bowls soaking over in the sink. And again, on this day, I'm just so glad to feel good. Like several days before, I thought, okay, maybe I could at least get this sourdough worked with a little more. I just couldn't do it. And my body does a lot. Your body does a lot. We're all folks healing and dealing with things on different levels. So I thought, nope. We can just wait until I actually feel like I can fully. There you go. So we're getting it done in pajamas on this morning. All right, and look at what's new today. Wow, Virginia, again. Got the bread back in the refrigerator. Gonna bake some tonight to go with dinner, and we are having another snow. Random chair down, Christmas chicken still out. It's okay, it's all good. Slowly doing some dinner prep thing as we get back to our sourdough factory. These two loaves have been sitting out for several hours, so we will get those going in the oven. And then also, I've opened about 4 cans of green beans. That's a whole bunch of chicken fat. Put some homemade chicken broth that I did this week with some leftover carcasses in there too. And a toddler playing in the sink behind me, haha. But anyway, we'll get those slow cooking and then also get 2 chickens going in the pot. All right, we got chicken in the oven. We got some sourdough getting ready to go in now, and I just turned our green beans on. All right, we have some dinner action going down. Sourdough is still in the oven, so I guess that will be more like dessert. We got some chicken and green beans and strawberries. All right, so I just pulled 2 loaves out of the oven. This is good. Well, good morning, friends. We got the second snowman cup of coffee, and I'm gonna go ahead and get my ovens blasting. Boy, we need to clean that there, don't we? Blasting. Why is that? Because we are baking a bunch of sourdough today. Oh, yes, we are. We have all our little prepped loaves here from last night, and then we have this questionable, very, very questionable looking English muffin sourdough mix that we did over a week ago before I went down with the seasonal sickness. We need to add, let's see, it was baking soda and honey. I feel like one more thing, maybe salt. We will read the recipe. Just not so sure. I mean, it looks pretty hopeless, but yet again, these looked hopeless too. And last night we baked 2 loaves and they were just fine, so we'll just see. And we've got a lot more coming up that we're going to do today. So I got 2 Dutch ovens in my big oven and then my small oven, which is like a regular size oven. I'm going to get that pot in there. Nothing's in there. We're just going to heat these up for a bit. Okay, so we're going to take our first 3, get these going. And while these are going in the oven, I'm gonna try to go make sense of my hair because, you know, it's a day and my hair needs done, so we will do that. First, sourdough. Well, friends, yes, it is a second snowman cup of coffee kind of morning, trying to get this sourdough going in the oven, and I am just proud of us because I think it has been 9 days now since we first, it's like Captain's Log, Winter Storms, Sea of Sickness, Sourdough Factory, trying to get going for 2025, but that's okay. I am caffeinating. I have accomplished a lot of mama tasks for the morning already. I have helped with language arts. I have assisted in math. We have done the things. Forts are now underway in the living room, and pretty soon folks are going to go outside to build snow forts. So actually, can't get too much gooder than this. Ha ha. Yes. Gooder. That's the new shirt, right? Can't get gooder than this. Yes and amen. So I am getting the sourdough prepped. I'm getting it scored there with the expansion scores, getting it on the parchment paper, and getting it in our preheated Dutch ovens. And we are just going to continue this sourdough factory throughout the day. I'm going to go here in a minute now that the day is half done, haha, and I'm going to, well, my teeth are brushed, so we're going places. My contacts are in, we're going places. I'm dressed and I have jewelry on. That means there are 2 things left on my mama checklist for this day, and that means I must get my hair done and get some makeup on all before noon. I am winning. Oh yes, I am. Then I'm going to come back and we are going to assess the situation. I think next we need to work on getting these sourdough English muffins done, see if our prepped dough from 9 days ago is still even gonna come to this party with us. And then from there, I need to look over my sourdough recipes and decide, because again, this is slated Sourdough Factory Day, and we're gonna pick a few more sourdough projects to get going big batch for my household of 10. Getting ready in stages, okay? Happening, taking the lids off. Back again. Ooh, I got one a little too crispy at the top. That stinks. I'm sorry, little sourdough. I'm supposed to leave the lids on 20 minutes and then take them off for about 15 to 20. Well, 2 out of 3 ain't bad, and that one we can cut that off of. The only thing is picking them up by the parchment paper. The parchment paper is pretty brittle by this point, and this is where I have burnt my hand a couple times in the past. Just how it's going to be. We win some, we lose some. That looks beautiful. That one looks pretty. This one's a little scorched on the top, but I will take the bread knife and slice that hard crust off. You probably hear fort fun in the background. So rolling through my little system there, I dump out our sourdough loaf and I score it. I do the expansion score, get it in my heated Dutch oven and get that in the flaming hot oven. I can do about 3 loaves at a time. I do 2 loaves in my bigger oven and 1 loaf in my smaller oven, and we just keep this sourdough factory going. The loaves stay in the ovens for about 20 minutes or so with the lids on, and then I remove the lids, and then they stay in another 15 or so minutes. I look at the recipe directions, but then I try to set my timer a little sooner because, as you see, sometimes I scorch my loaves, and it has been a bit since I've had these good routines going. So I am taking my super hot pots out, but look how beautiful. We're continuing to work through this sourdough for the afternoon. I'm thinking for dinner tonight, I would like to do some of those discard pizza crusts, but you do them in a pan, heat it up like one of those pans we'll use. I think we will give that a go. I also just had one of my folks bring up 2 roaster ovens and a bunch of chicken carcasses because I think we are going to get chicken broth going too. And work on canning that. So all the things. Well, that one turned out pretty looking. Now we have 1 loaf left. All right, afternoon chores have been accomplished. We spilled a whole big thing of green beans. That was an adventure. Still a few green beans evidence over there. Dishwashers are running. Last thing of sourdough of those easy loaves is in the oven. Okay. And now we have this questionable, prepped 9 days ago, English muffins. We need to add the salt, baking soda, and honey. So I'm going to see what I can find. Even know how this dough is going to feel. Oh, it's actually pretty soft. Okay, there's some hope there. So let's see what I can pull together. Okay, so feeling pretty hopeful. Think we're making it, which is always so nice. I do have a timer that's about to go on that watch for me to check this bread. This timer. Okay. So I'm pretty sure we tripled this recipe, so I'm tripling these ingredients. So it'll be a tablespoon of salt, tablespoon of baking soda, 3 tablespoons of honey. And then I will need to move the sourdough that's on the stove, and I think we will get the English muffins going in the 3 large cast iron pans. Okay, now we'll dig in and see what we can make happen here. And I'm nervous. I am nervous at this point with this English muffin dough. I feel like in the past it actually rose more in the refrigerator, but it's okay. It's been a year since I've made homemade sourdough English muffins, and I'm just trusting the process that I have been here before, and somehow it all works out. So we are just continuing to do this hand mixing, and let's see what happens. All right, so I think I've done mixed this about all that I can by hand here, and we're just gonna give it a go. Like I say, we are asking a lot of this sourdough all around, but things are working out, and I believe coming up, so to-do list, besides washing my hands here shortly, cook our English muffins, get our last bread loaf out, then I've got to do a few other mama life things, and then when I come back, in 3 seconds, video time, haha, we are gonna do the discard pizza crust in the cast iron in the oven for dinner. This is me looking at my mental whiteboard. And then we are gonna do big batch discard bagels to round out our day. So, productive. Also, using what we have on hand, our last Sharp Shopper cheese is this Jumpin' Jack cheese with ghost peppers. Wow, so that'll be some fun cheese for pizza tonight. And then we had some of these cans of pizza sauce in the pantry. So we are prepping a little bit for pizza tonight.
Right. In 10 minutes, fingers crossed.
So now I am setting my loaves out on some boards just to continue to cool. Everyone always wants to cut into the sourdough quickly, but it does need to cool so it doesn't get gummy and weird. But now we're again moving forward in the process. I am doing sourdough English muffins in the 17-inch Lodge cast iron skillets. I've had these skillets for 3 or so years now, and I am so happy with them. I've taken them on camping trips and other adventures. I've been doing more big batch bacon in them as well, getting both of them going. You know, I love to do bacon in my oven, but I also love to do bacon on the Lodge cast iron. And so, wow, English muffins are cooking through. I do a pretty good job of not scorching most of them, which is very good, always a good goal in life. And so I am flipping them. I try to not flip them too often. And yeah, I do get dark on a couple of them, but you know what? They taste delicious. We love cutting them and getting them in the toaster. And oh my goodness, on this day, I'm going to have one and put some delicious peanut butter and a ripe banana on it. That is my afternoon mama snack. And that loaf of sourdough came out pretty beautiful there. So definitely some good rhythms going on. I have also hooked up my, well, it's not a hookup. I have used my flat surface Lodge cast iron griddles on this big stove. And I've done things like these sourdough English muffins on those as well. That has worked well. The one griddle that's on this stove, so this is the 60-inch Z line, and I do love it. And if moving is in my future, wherever I go, I will just have this same stove again because it is that wonderful. But the one thing I don't like about this stove, okay, so I love the fact, let's say the things I love, it's got 8 gas burners. And then it also has, let me do my math. Yes, 8, it is 8. And then there's this flat top griddle that is part of it. And that griddle is kind of okay. But I do like putting 3 of the flat top Lodge cast irons on the other gas burners and getting things going with that. Of course, it really heats up the kitchen. I do have a large vent hood, but it's beautiful cooking. Beautiful big batch cooking. Since I have been cooking so much food over the decades for all of my people, I do really love, though, how these things are piling up. So just continuing to flip these. They turned out beautiful on the inside as well. And what I'm hoping to do is get a nice stash of sourdough English muffins and sourdough bagels, just like we have done many, many times over the years, and then make a bunch of breakfast freezer meal sandwiches. And for my different little chunks that might get scorched, I will do an overnight sourdough French toast bake. I've even done those for the freezers before. It's a great way to make something out of all of it. All right, so our afternoon bucket of homemade sourdough English muffins is a-growing.
Okay, so this last batch, I feel like they'll be Mega Mama size. They are a little bigger, and that's okay, because we are getting through this project. I'm gonna get this bowl soaking. And with the sourdough discard pizzas that we're gonna do for dinner, I was reading about them. I'll link it below. It's over on my friend Lisa, Farmhouse on Boone, on her site. And it's where she just heats up cast iron and then pours her sourdough discard into it to coat her pan. You just have to eyeball it. You let it cook about 10 minutes. Part of what I had read that Lisa said about the recipe too is that once you add your pizza sauce and cheese to it, it can get soggy, but then in the comments of that post, and she suggested as well, folks were discussing flipping it. So I think we will go in with that knowledge. I did have one of my teen sons shred up some of that cheese. And then again, just using what we have on hand. I don't have any shredded mozzarella. I do have some sandwich cheese slices of provolone, and that's probably what we will put on some pizza for some folks who won't care for the spicy. But I think teen boys will not mind ghost peppers. There's how our mountain's growing, and this is our last batch over here. I'm definitely not mad at our sourdough. I had some with some almond butter and a banana on it, and it is delicious. These Mammoth English muffins, Mega Mama size, look great. And I'm probably going to now, I need to get a video published and do a few things and some mom life things. And I probably need to go take a little walk break too. Standing in this kitchen getting projects done is not as many steps as you would think it would be. And now that we are through the sea of sickness, I need to get back to getting my 15 to 20,000 steps a day.
And of course, I mean, many of these are twice the size, 2 to 3 times the size of an average English muffin, but they baked up delicious, and that was a wonderful afternoon snack.
5 o'clock, folks are coming in and like grabbing sourdough English muffins and stuff, and we just need to eat dinner around here. So I'm gonna do Lisa's the easiest sourdough discard pizza crust recipe, and I will link that down below. So it says delicious sourdough discard pizza crust is super fast and there's no kneading or waiting. Please, okay, I've got 6'2" men out here waiting for dinner, and I also am filling roaster ovens, and I'm not overflowing them pretty good. But anyway, see how that looks? I've seen also my friend Sarah on Our Tribe of Many, I almost said Farmhouse Longboat again. Anyway, I've seen Sarah do this before. But again, part of the tips in the comments are to take it out and flip it. So, and you have to have a pizza stone or a cast iron to do it. I've been saving my discard for my large family mom project. So, let's see, and we are still shout roaster oven in a minute, okay? So her directions were to heat up a pizza stone or a cast iron. And I'm sure some other Mega Mamas out there have used their big pans for this. So, and I still have the olive oil in there from, what was it we did? English muffins. Tired mom brain is in full effect, and that's where I'm like, you know what, for today in the sourdough factory, we baked the bread, we did sourdough English muffins, we're doing the pizzas, I'm getting broth going for another massive food preservation project, and then after dinner, I should get outside and do my running and do those things. Those are things I can do when my brain is tired and still be productive. Okay, it said just coat it and it's going to start baking, and I see that happening. Ooh, I'm so glad I have a lot of discard. And now hers has like the crust coming up the sides, so maybe I need a little more. Okay, water off. Back to roasters in a minute. Hers like came up thick. Worth a shot, okay? In the oven. We're just gonna, I mean, it said just pour and put it in, so let's have a go. Please be okay though, because, oh, maybe I'm supposed to like take it around the sides a little. You think I'm supposed to do that? I don't know. Hers has like a crust on the sides. hope I didn't make that too thick now. All the things to worry about, right? Now, my folks will probably turn their noses up because it'll look different than like the great value pizzas they've come to know and love over this past year. But that's okay, we'll get them back. You know, for years and years I've had homemade pizza dough in the freezers, and I've also done the sourdough pizza dough for in the freezers. Ooh, that's real good. Okay. I don't know, I feel like I'm supposed to do this out. Okay. The directions did not say that. And I'm wondering how if I put too much. Well, we're gonna find out. It's the great easy sourdough discard experiment. Okay. I keep checking on it, that won't help. So that two 17-inch cast iron pans, that was almost 3 quarts of discard. See, some folks don't like the discard, which is fine, but when I really get baking a lot with sourdough, there's fun things to do with discard too. So it just makes for more fun. We'll have to experiment again. Maybe I poured it on a little too thick. Maybe it'll be perfect. One of the comments said about flipping it. So we'll just let's see if that's, let's just try. Can we do it? Oh. Well, I feel like this would also be a delicious giant pancake. Okay, and she talked a lot about hitting it with a lot of olive oil, and I forgot to do that on that side. So I also forgot Italian seasoning, but I think I'm just gonna go playing with these. Okay, so it flipped. Nice. Okay, so then we'll give you a try. Don't mind the crust flying around the kitchen, but this is actually pretty hopeful. Okay. Feeling nice. Feeling good. Okay. So, I'm just thinking out loud here. If I have 2, and then sauce and cheese, I feel like I need 3 to 4. My brain, oh, I have other pizza pans. Maybe that's what I'll do. Maybe I will move them to the pizza pan and then do 2 more. That's fine, that'll work. Oh, that's looking really good. Okay, I'm excited for us. Pizza pans in a minute. That just looks amazing. Okay. Okay, awesome. Move these out of the way for that. And I don't know what I'm going on. But I do think everyone will be so happy with my newfound use for sourdough discard. That is nice. Okay, so oil. I am super pleased. Super pleased. Alright, so just trying to use these last little bits up. And I saw when I went back to her blog post, she took a wooden spoon and spread that too. She said more olive oil, and I almost forgot that.
So I'm nervous at this point in the sourdough discard pizza process just because I've never used sourdough discard and just poured it in hot cast iron before and used it to make a pizza crust. But my goodness, we gotta try new things. So I'm definitely trying something new on this night. But look how that crust is baking up. And so I'm pouring the sauce on there now. That's just sauce out of a can. One day we'll do homemade pizza sauce. And I'm going to use the shredded cheese.
So we have, doesn't seem like a whole lot of shredded cheese from earlier today. Wonder if they ate some. You never know. Okay, so and these will just be cheese pizzas. We don't have any other toppings really. I might have some canned olives, but I don't think so. No pepperoni, no meats, but we had pizza sauce in the pantry and figured out some cheese. Let's see, I'm gonna put provolone on the other two. And I'm gonna see if I can just slide this underneath. Those racks might be too close. Let's see here. I'm asking for trouble. That one I won't be able to. Okay, it'll have to wait.
I am super impressed, and these are just baking up so nice. So yeah, I'm eating some of the little crust that's coming up on the sides, but the thing that really threw me is that my 4 sourdough discard pizzas that I made just they don't look like the pictures, not in a bad way. The crust is a lot thicker than I was expecting. You know, my only homemade pizza experience over the years, of course, we've done tortilla pizzas and bagel pizzas. Like, we've used various leftover bread for pizzas.
Okay, looks like pizza, smells like pizza, bet it tastes like pizza.
But back to the pizza experience chat. I've done most of my homemade pizza dough in the bread machine, just using yeast without sourdough. I've done a lot of whole wheat pizza. I've prepped a bunch for the freezers. We then defrost them and roll them out and bake them up that way. I've also used Lisa's sourdough pizza recipe to do big batch sourdough for the freezer. And so that's my pizza experience. All that to say, usually I just roll it out, put it on a pizza pan. I've never used my cast iron for it. I've never used a pizza stone. And I don't know all the magic that's happening here. Maybe it's the fact that I poured some thicker layers of discard. Maybe it's that these jars of discard haven't been in the refrigerator too long. Like, they were still pretty thick. I don't know, but it baked up beautifully. Like, if I could ever be happy about sourdough discard pizza, I am incredibly thrilled. It doesn't take much to thrill me. Just at how nice this turned out. I did flip them, and we didn't have any soggy crust either. So maybe the comments I've read about flipping in the middle helped, but these were fantastic. I'm not mad about how these turned out looking. Just because of how hot these pans are, and I know I'm gonna have lots of reaching hands, I am gonna get out my other two pizza pans. You know, I'm not one that likes to get an extra pan messy, but we can just rinse these when we're done. Didn't fare well, did it? Okay. Should have moved them to the pizza pans before. I don't want them to be all messed up now. All right. Let me just throw another piece of cheese on that. So, if you want to move your pizzas, move them before you decorate them. Okay, we will see if some cheese will just solve some problems there, and I'll just put it back in this oven for 2 minutes. And probably, let me just see what this pizza's saying to me when I do this. Oh, this one's in better shape. Nice, okay. Expert level pizza mover right here. We did it. Okay. Everybody is so excited. Okay, let's see here. I'm just gonna put the broil back on for hopefully a quick minute. Well, look at us. 4 homemade sourdough discard cheese pizzas. Doing things. Also, a little bit of fruit left from lunch. Someone set out a bunch of cups in the milk. We have bananas, also looking for a home. So it's pizza and fruit tonight. All right, friends, new day. Today, we are accomplishing some more things in the sourdough factory. I have yeast in my hand. We are going to use sourdough discard to do our sourdough discard bagels. I'm hoping to do 6 dozen. So the big Hobart mixer that you all helped me name Hope, we need to get her going for 2025. I've never actually used that mixer yet. It's a 12 quart. I got it off Facebook Marketplace. It was a fantastic deal because when I've looked up the 12 quart Hobart mixers online, they were like $12,000. I'm sure there's other deals. Facebook Marketplace seems to be the best place to go. I got it for about $1,200 delivered. A friend of mine out of state who loves hers found mine for me. And she does all kinds of mega mama bacon, and she said that's what I need in my life. So I was like, yes ma'am, we will get going with that. It seems to be I should be able to do my big batch triple batches in the Hobart instead of 1 batch at a time, limping it along with the KitchenAid. And my toddler affectionately is calling the KitchenAid his mixer, and then the big one is the mama mixer. So all kinds of fun things are about to go down. I've got chicken broth going for another project. 2 22 quart roaster ovens are going, and my 30 quart pot. So my biggest goal today is to not burn my arm on that while we're dealing with the Hobart. But let's get going. Let's get our warm water going in the Hobart. Let's do our little yeast math. I was just reading through the recipe again. This is Lisa, Farmhouse on Boone, her easy sourdough discard bagels, which I've probably done 6 times or so since 2023 when I first started
working with the sourdough. So I'd like to do 2 triple batches of the bagels, get us about 6 dozen, try to make them a sensible, normal size, not mega mama size. And I'm hopeful that later this week I'll be doing a big breakfast freezer meal day, which will be super helpful. I had a team do scrambled eggs for breakfast, and I prepped strawberries, and that was breakfast while folks were doing school things and such. But to have breakfast freezer sandwiches will be fantastic. I also just washed this cast iron, and then I had one of my folks rub it down with some oil for us. Alrighty. Just gonna stack those for now. Alright, I got my discard sitting out. Let's see here. Okay, throwing stuff around. So, we're gonna get 3 cups of warm water and then 3 tablespoons of active yeast going in the mixer. On Lisa's blog, I've just done the ×3 ingredient. So if you were not doing 3 dozen at a time, again, I will link the recipe down below. You would need 3 teaspoons of active dry yeast and 1 cup of water. So, just gonna get this going. Okay. Voila. Get in there and like it. Hear my little pot of chicken broth there talking to me. I spilled some of this yeast too whenever I opened it. Okay, all one. So I've got my chicken carcasses going. I had 2 carcasses I picked down and made some, oh, there it goes, spilling my yeast again. Made some chicken salad, threw those in there, and then I threw another bag of chicken feet from J&L Green Farm. Because you know, I always love to be hopeful. In the new year, 2025, we are back to massive food preservation. Yes, we are. Okay. I can, maybe we're also going to be professional yeast spillers. Scissors would have been helpful. That's okay. And she has regular active starter sourdough bagel recipes also, and you don't have to add the yeast. That's probably good. Okay, 3 and some mess, and whisk warm water and yeast together in the bowl of the stand mixer. I may not have a whisk over here. Let me fly away. And thanks to modern technology, if I have any trouble getting the Hobart up and running, I shouldn't. I mean, I turned it on in November, and I FaceTime with my friend out of state who found it for me. And I really wanted to start using it then. Okay, cover and allow to sit for 5 minutes. It should get nice and bubbly. Well, we'll just do some of that action. And then next up, to the bowl of the stand mixer, dough hook attachment, add sourdough discard, honey, salt, and flour. Beat on low for 10 minutes. And what I'm going to do is we need to take a lunch break here at the house. We have our leftover sourdough pizza from last night. We have 1.5 pizzas left out of the 4 that I made. And then we also have strawberries that I prepped. So I'm gonna get both things of dough, doing a rise on the counter once we run it through the mixer. And that will be our dough for 6 dozen bagels. And then after I'm done with lunch break, we are listening through The Magician's Nephew now. We're gonna go through the whole Narnia series again. We might also play some Zelda Uno. Lunch break done, back to bagels. Alrighty, so doing what we can here. That's lovely. Okay, so 3 cups of sourdough discard. Nice and sourdough-y. Okay, got that. And we need 6 tablespoons of honey or maple syrup. I have both, yay. And then 2 tablespoons of salt and flour. Okay, 12 cups of flour. Good deal, good deal. So, boop, 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 boop. I struggled getting this open yesterday. It's just a little sticky, I think. I like using the ends of wooden spoons since I don't have a butter knife over here and I don't want to fly around the kitchen for one. So we'll count our honey. 1, 2. Okay, and we'll need this again for our second triple batch, and then 2 teaspoons of salt. If I said teaspoons, I meant tablespoons, because we're doing a triple batch, and it now needs 6 teaspoons, so 2 tablespoons. There's some very excited Legos going on in the living room. You hear all that excitement. And now the flour. Okay, I already got 2 cups in there. Had some folks that look like me come in and chat for a minute. That was 3, 4. Okay, best of luck. Let's see if we can make this thing come alive. Make sure I am plugged in, which I am. And it's on 1 speed. Okay, there's a whole timer thing on the side. Let me set it for 5 minutes. Well, la-di-da, how nice. I am all off, nice off position. And now we're gonna get our dough out. I am not going to take off this dough hook because it's quite a workout getting it off and on, so I will just peel my dough out the best I can and we'll go from there. I was also reading the recipe. Each batch does 8, so we won't get 3 dozen exactly from each batch. We're gonna get 2.5, which is fine. So it means by the end of all of this, I should have 5 dozen bagels, not 6 dozen, because math. But also, will it be 4 dozen? Okay, so this needs to sit now, wet tea towel or what have you, for about 60 minutes to an hour. I'm gonna get the next batch going though. I'm gonna put a wet tea towel on this. Okay, not anymore today. These packets, we will use scissors. One of these yeast packets is 2 1/4 teaspoons. Okay, so first one is down. Warm water filling up. We need 3 tablespoons. We have our yeast, we have our warm water. Going to now put in our 3 more cups of sourdough discard. While we were waiting on the yeast, I was reading over a sourdough discard cinnamon roll recipe. I was thinking I would do a double batch, but that's ridiculous. Do a triple batch, which is another 12 cups of flour. All good, and I don't think anyone here is gonna mind if Mama does a triple batch of cinnamon rolls. So, got that in. Now we're gonna go back to, I'll do our 2 tablespoons of salt, because that was the easiest for me to grab. Whee, well, a little bit extra there. Okay. And our honey. Next, we're going to count flour. 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, that first mix and run, I mean, that was wonderful. Again, wish I could have done that in November when I bought the thing, but my brain needed to take a good bit of November and December off. I mean, it's not like I didn't do anything, but I was not able to do mixing math. So, That is fine. I do feel like, and again, I know healing's not linear. Just feel pretty good right now. Is that okay? Feel pretty good. Feel pretty hopeful. Feel, yes, all the things. Ebbs and flows, but I take it when I can. So, back to counting out 12 cups of flour. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, Alrighty, flip the switch to on. We will put the timer on 10 minutes this time. Nice. We haven't had to change gears yet, but the day that I bought it, I did work through the gears. Because I have the mess out, you know, I want to do the triple batch of the cinnamon rolls, and people are pretty glued together right now. So I'm thinking, let's get this dough out, let's push it, let's see if we can get the dough prep for the cinnamon rolls too. Off, nice. Oh, I didn't. I can lower that though. Nice, very nice. And the cinnamon rolls also take discard, getting cinnamon rolls going, and then long lunch. Okay. Alrighty. We're gonna need baking soda and baking powder also for this one.
So I'm getting all my little supplies over there, and we're just going to it. I am so glad to be to the point where I am using this new mixer. I got it. Like I shared, it was a deal, and one of my good mama friends told me to do it, and I listened. And now being able to do triple batches of things, 2 triple batches of bagels in this Mama Beast Mode mixer instead of 6 separate batches in a smaller mixer. I think this is going to be great things for our future. Very, very exciting.
We need a tablespoon of baking soda and 2 tablespoons of baking powder, a tablespoon of salt. And I've just clicked the triple the recipe button on her blog. So, baking soda. Powder. Let's keep it together here. This is baking soda from Azure. In. Nice. Soda, and then 2 baking powder. This is also aluminum-free baking powder from Azure. And then tablespoon of salt. Pretty good. Okay, now 3 cups sourdough discard. Don, I got some other adventures happening here. Got a little birdie at my window watching me. I always feel so accomplished when I get things done with my discard. And you don't have to feed your starter so much and discard so much. I just like doing things with both of them, with the active starter and the discard, when I'm able to really do this. And what I want to be mindful of is just the fact that, you know, emotionally, I could go down for another month or 2. So not that we're going to be eating these cinnamon rolls in March when I need freezer meals, but if I get my pump primed now while I'm up and at 'em, I just want to make the best of it, right? All of us just want to make the best of it. So, okay, I've got 2 cups of discard here. And then I'm going to pour a little of this hooch off too. Okay, so we need 3 cups. Nice. Okay, then we're going to need 3 cups of warm water and 1.5 cups of melted butter and 3/4 of a cup of honey. And now this sourdough cinnamon roll recipe does not call for prepping the dough and then letting it do any kind of rise or anything, but I'm prepping the dough and it's going to sit here and like it until we get to it. You're supposed to be able to finish your dough and then take it from there and keep doing your cinnamon rolls. So that's okay though, because we're gonna get this mess cleaned up too. We poured in our discard. Now we've got our 3 cups of water, our 1.5 cups of butter, and then we need about 3/4 of a cup of honey. A bunch of this is crystallized, but I've also found like a liquid honey vein in here, so that's where I'm digging it from. And I think what I'm going to do is we will keep 2 pans of cinnamon rolls, and then I've got some neighbors around here, households of 2 and 3, and I will divide another pan. Take 6 to one neighbor, 6 to a set of friends, and that will be some good sharing too. Good job, honey. All right, and this was the way it was written: dry ingredients, then wet ingredients, then mix together until a ball forms. May take 3 to 5 minutes. Then place dough on lightly floured surface with a rolling pin. Then we jump right in. So anyway, up you go, Hobart. Flip you back on. There we go. I had to turn it on all the way. Okay, so let that go for 5 do some cleanup while it's mixing and start working on getting, it's a late lunch, it's like 2 now, but we ended up having a late breakfast. I don't think most of us didn't eat until around 10. So, yay, Mama works from home. Now we'll take an afternoon lunch break together. I'll probably take an hour or so. Just also when I stand like this and cook, it's good for my back for me to sit a while. Like I say, we will listen to our audiobook, maybe play some card games, all those good things. I'm going to continue to do freezer meals using a lot of these sourdough products as well. And we will also get into some more yeast baking. I do have my grain mill as well. I've had that since 2023-ish, and I would love to get into working with fresh milled flour more in 2025. Okay, hopefully this does not mind sitting on the counter an hour or 2. I guess I could put it in the fridge. It doesn't say yay nor, what am I saying? Yay nor nay. I said it there. It doesn't say what I should do, but I am doing pretty good at remembering to turn my Hobart off. Yay. Lower it down. I think I'm just gonna let it sit on the counter. Why not? I mean, we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out why not, right? I mean, I could prep it and put it in the fridge. You all aren't, that's the hard thing. You're not here to tell me in real time. Oh, it feels very nice cinnamon roll dough. I think the last time I did cinnamon rolls, it's been a couple years. I did homemade pumpkin cinnamon rolls. I'm pretty sure I used my bread machine for it. I will link that recipe down below as well. They were not sourdough, but once I get my sourdough engine back up and running, I want to go through and work on converting a lot of my recipes to sourdough too. Okay, but not today. Okay, pretty good. Nice. It's like I like squishing the dough. Okay, so just gonna cover this and we'll see it after Mama takes a break. Okay, so we're gonna get this soaking. And still got my chicken broth going for another project, but I do need a pot of water to boil the bagels in. So let me just reorganize my stove here for a minute. Alrighty. It's just so nice when I can take off my old brain and put on a fresh one. Thank you, afternoon nap. Cinnamon rolls can just move on down here a bit. And we have our nice doubled, I almost said bacon dough. That could be a thing, bagel dough. That on down for now. Alrighty. Just gonna get our little bagel rolling assembly line going. Okay. Nice. So we will get these, I'm just eyeballing them, okay, how we do it. And we will cover them with the wet tea towel again and let them rise for about 30 minutes or so. The dough is nice and soft now. And I'm trying to do nice sensible bagel sizes.
I always question myself at this point in baking. I guess when I've baked, 600 times, maybe I'll have it more in my soul. But I just always question, like, are you really gonna get bigger bagels? Am I making these too big? Am I making them too small? Like, I don't always trust the process at this point, but I'm just trying to be sensible because I do know from experience in the past, I have made some huge bagels. So I'm just trying to do the dough balls a size that when I flatten them out a little bit and poke my hole through them or poke my finger through to make a hole, that I get about a dozen on each sheet. And then I cover them with a wet towel and we let them sit on the island and continue to rise for a bit. And we're going to get to them. I am proud of us. We are shaping these bagels and we are going to boil them and get them baked all on this one night. Yay. And I am able to get into just my quiet woman zone. What is that? Where I'm able to just have some quiet brain time and get into this workflow of getting these bagels done. Kind of like, this is reality, but when moms joke about being able to like go to the dentist and it feels like you have a vacation in that dental chair. Just getting some bagels done. That's a pretty nice vacation for me. Many times I listen to audiobooks or I have some music playing in my kitchen when I'm able to get into a workflow like this. Sometimes I'm watching through my videos that I need to do voiceover for or that I need to publish the following day. But bagels are a happening, and I'm just using my pizza pan here. I'm missing my extra large sheet pans. I don't know where those went. Where did you go? Again, kitchen mysteries, but I probably just need to order some more of those. I've always gotten those Nordic Ware brand sheet pans.
So for our next excitement, we are going to do these cinnamon rolls. We need 1.5 cups of softened butter, 3 cups of brown sugar, and 6 tablespoons of cinnamon. So I'm going to get those now. Alrighty, so we are making our cinnamon filling. Now, I don't have any brown sugar, but I have regular granulated sugar and I have blackstrap molasses. So we're gonna make us some brown sugar. To hear some documentary boat facts there for a few minutes, but I finished stirring this up. It's a nice dark brown. Now I'm going to add in the butter, and again, this is enough for a triple batch, so for 3 dozen, and we got 6 tablespoons of cinnamon. Smells great. Okay.
And hey, that was some fun, sped up mixing. I really wish I could mix that fast, where we did the wonderful cinnamon sugar filling for these cinnamon rolls. So now I am rolling out the cinnamon roll dough. I like how these can be prepped with sourdough discard, and you just do your cinnamon rolls the same day. That is very, very nice. And this wonderful sugar and butter and deliciousness filling smells so good. And so I spread it out, and then I am doing my rolls. It has been 2 to 3 years since I have done homemade cinnamon rolls. Again, the last time I remember making them was my pumpkin cinnamon rolls. I remember doing a video for and serving them out in the yard, and nobody complained about those. So I'll link that recipe down below for you as well. And so I had planned to get 3 dozen. Now my ends end up a little small, which can happen with cinnamon rolls, and so we get about 41 or 42 cinnamon rolls. I'll do the whole count for you here in a few minutes. Nobody minded eating the little ends either. I do try to make nice thick cinnamon rolls, and boy, everybody was thrilled. So many wonderful, wonderful praise from my folks. Now I do have some of my folks are not big sourdough fans. And so, you know, for sourdough to have that sour-ish taste, you can pour the hooch off, and that helps cut down on that while still getting the many, many good benefits for sourdough. But even my non-sourdough fans were super thrilled with these. I have 1 or 2. I think there's probably 2 of them that are like, we don't need sourdough. But that's okay. That's what Mom's making, right? But no one complained about these cinnamon rolls. They certainly did not. And they were shared with friends and also gone out of this house within 48 hours or so. And so here's our another load there, going out, stretching them out a bit. And then we layer on our delicious filling, spread it out the best we can. And I do spread this one a little thinner, but I don't even remember which pan that was. No one said, oh, this has thinner amounts of sugar and cinnamon in it. And I just try to stretch and pinch and roll. And you can also use unflavored dental floss. There's a couple ways to cut it. I just used a really sharp knife, and I get them down in my oiled pans. Okay, we're gonna take a minute to tidy here. So making 3 dozen cinnamon rolls, that would have been about 36. I got 41, but a couple of those are the little swirly small ones, but I filled in around the edges. And so it's 4 pans of cinnamon rolls. Okay, so Sourdough Factory is coming along. We are doing things. I'm going to get the cinnamon rolls in the oven now, and while those are in the oven, we're going to start boiling our bagels and get those back on their pans. Bake well cinnamon rolls. Alrighty, so I'm going to get our icing going in a saucepan. Just thought I'll make it, then I'll let it sit. And then we will work on our boiling our bagels, get our bagel factory going. Okay, I'm gonna move this back a burner here in a minute, but again, we have triple batched everything. So we've got 1.5 cups of heavy cream. And I've used a lot of honey today, so I think we will use maple syrup. She says maple syrup or honey. We've got, again, 1.5 cups. Gold right there. Should be delicious. Okay. And then
tablespoon. Look, our homemade vanilla. Smells good. So we got 2 tablespoons. And then 18 ounces of cream cheese. Tablespoons baking soda, and then 3 tablespoons brown sugar. So I'm gonna mix this up. Small extra batch brown sugar real quick. And this is where we're gonna boil the bagels 1 minute on either side.
And so I'm just getting in a little bit of the brown sugar. I made another little small batch to put in the pot to boil the bagels in. I'm also working on stirring up the homemade icing recipe that Lisa had with delicious cream cheese and heavy cream and all of that. That is in my little pot on the back of the stove there. I do end up taking my immersion blender to that just to help the cream cheese blend down a little further. And it was a beautiful glaze. Super, super beautiful. And I just kept stirring it as I was able. And I set my timer. I have my bagels in the boiling water for one minute per side. And then I flip them, boil the other side. And boy, they continue to look more and more like bagels throughout the process. So again, it's trust the process. Now I'm doing my 1 minute flip. Set out our cinnamon roll babies to pull off. Well, 1 moment, got distracted by bagels. Okay. Definitely not mad about these. So we are just going back and forth multitasking at this current edition of the Sourdough Factory. I'm getting other loads of bagels moved into the boiling pot of water and then working through and getting pans in the oven to cook. Now we're finally to that point, which is exciting. I do have even my 1 or 2 non-sourdough critics. They love the bagels. They love... what else is it? They do love a lot. So don't mean to say we don't have 100% participation, but I want to do many, many styles of baking coming up, including getting our gluten-free sourdough starter, because my gluten-free folks also really love sourdough. And of course, the longer it ferments, the more of the gluten that's broken down. But there's been some tummy aches whenever they've still had long fermented sourdough. So we definitely need to get some gluten-free starter going and do some gluten-free baking experiments too. So I got both ovens with 4 pans of sourdough bagels going. We're getting our last pan out now. I've got 1 more batch of 6 bagels to boil. I just took my immersion blender
through the icing recipe for the cinnamon rolls. And pretty soon here we are going to pour that over top of those pans. I don't think there will be any complaints. So that is good.
And now we are just going to have a late evening homemade sourdough cinnamon roll party. Oh yes, we are. 4 9x13 pans overflowing there. And you can see the glaze turned out beautiful. Just total deliciousness. And so I am just getting everyone a nice big cinnamon roll on a plate. I'm going to call everybody out to come and test out Mama's cinnamon rolls on this evening. And again, big fans. Really loved it. Okay, so we got a little evening Mama cinnamon roll assembly line going on down here. I'm going to serve these up, and no one is going to be mad about that. And continuing on through this evening, I'm getting the last few pans of bagels out. Future Jamerrill, please know the size of the bagels that you made were just fine. They were not too small. I think I've had, I don't know, 2 to 4 just seemed too small in the past. And I feel like all of mine could be too small. Obviously not a problem. The loaves were beautiful. That's the cinnamon rolls that are left. We have our wonderful sourdough English muffins, which again, I greatly enjoyed. Stacks and stacks of bagels. Thank you so much for doing this massive sourdough factory with me that we did over many days, because I had to take a full 7 days off at some point to heal and recover. I'm so hopeful for 2025 and all the projects and things that I want to do, adventures that we know are coming and the adventures that we don't know. I feel positive, and I think I've had some layers of healing, some layers of recovery. As I like to say, you know, I'll be healing for the rest of my life, and it just is what it is. And I am not on a journey that millions of women have not been on before me. And I thank you for your encouragement and for your prayers and for your support. Thank you for watching this channel. And I hope to see you real soon with another brand new video. Also, hey, help me out. Why don't you tell me in the comments some of your favorite videos that I have done for you over the years, and just tell me what you would like to see more of from me in 2025. Also, I have not forgot about my second channel. Between birthdays and holidays and sickness and getting going again for the new year, I have taken a break over there. I do hope real soon to get back to having 1 video a week coming up over there. I got lots of good ideas for over there as well, so we're doing it. Thank you so much for watching, friends, and I'll see you real soon with another brand new video. Bye-bye.